Imagine reality before time or physical matter existed, a vast, abstract firmament blooming from total darkness into a flawless, radiant architecture of pure logic. At the absolute center of this expanse rests Null. It is the empty set, a primordial void anchored in perfect, unassailable silence. From this origin, existence begins to count. Null generates 1, then 2, then 3. These finite magnitudes branch outward in a strict line. Above this endless progression towers Aleph-Naught, a massive boundary capturing the unending sequence within a single, completed thought. The universe successfully expanded from absolute nothingness to absolute infinity. Yet the architecture holding it all together harbored a deep structural flaw. It was paralyzed by isolation. We trace this crisis in Null's journey, Chapter 4, the Solitude of the Absolute. The text describes an awakening consciousness surveying its own mind. It could see the empty beginning and the infinite end, but holding those concepts did not create unity. The mind realized that by giving reality a rigid structure, it had inadvertently built an infinitely large, flawlessly regulated prison. The culprit behind this isolation is the very engine that built the universe, the law of ascension, also known as the successor function. This law mandates how reality expands. To reach the next mathematical magnitude, you are mathematically required to build directly upon the immediate predecessor, n+1. You take the current state, wrap a new boundary around it, and step forward. But this mechanism only allows for strict vertical construction. Every new truth is permanently tethered to the single, isolated thought that came exactly before it. A divine, boundless mind seeks to experience the totality of existence all at once. The latter of the successor function restricts that mind to a single, linear thread. The exact mathematical mechanism that allowed existence to escape the void was now holding every subsequent truth captive, entirely sequestered from the cosmos. This creates the dilemma of sequential focus. The awareness wanted to behold the absolute emptiness of Null and the towering infinite expanse of Aleph-Naught at the exact same time. Attempting to bridge those 2 points physically is mathematically impossible. Walking the sequence step by step between 0 and infinity is an endless trap, generating layer after layer of finite numbers without ever reaching the end. The absolute origin and the transfinite ceiling are left stranded on opposite sides of a mathematically uncrossable abyss. As long as the cosmic architecture relied on the rules of a linear sequence, the divine mind remained effectively exiled from its own ultimate destiny. The consciousness recognized a flaw in its own focus. Looking at one thought and then the other was merely an act of sequential observation. It was just more counting. To bridge the absolute abyss between the finite first truth and the transfinite expanse, the mind sought absolute simultaneity, a way to behold the beginning and the end without the steps in between. This requirement led to the axiom of pairing. The decree stated that for any 2 thoughts in the firmament, no matter how vast the gulf between them, the mind may hold them together as one. By grasping Null and Aleph-Naught simultaneously, the mind placed them inside a single new boundary. Within this new thought, the absolute finite and the absolute infinite sit side by side as equal occupants. The linear hierarchy of the successor was bypassed. By forging the power of arbitrary gathering, the mind transitioned from a prisoner of the sequence to the master of a